Hey everybody, and welcome to another Game Overtime discussion. Today we're going to be talking about some recent rumors that came out about the NX and its hardware.
Hi.
That's John. He's nice. So let's start with the older rumor. A Zelda U or Zelda NX at this point. Patent mentioned having cartridges, and seeing that the NX is potentially a hybrid with a focus on handheld, it's gonna probably need to load games pretty quick. So cartridges load much quicker than discs do. Maybe it's switching to cartridge, and it probably is because it mentioned it, which is an interesting choice.
Yeah, it would be, and this would allow for a solid connection. It's kind of like solid state drives versus just normal hard drives. Instead of having to read a disk and use the laser technology that they use to read it, it's just an immediate connection, which is why it would be faster.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this specific aspect of what the console might be, because I think cartridges are often a lot more, like, I don't know, they're cooler than discs. Like, I'm looking over at my desk, I see Star Fox and Aladdin, they're cartridges. I can go pick them up, plop them in the console, and it's way more satisfying than inserting a disc. Same thing with the DS games.
And the only worrisome thing about this is, like, the space, because I think the rumor stated earlier, if I'm wrong, please comment down below, but I'm pretty sure that they're working on having 32 gigabytes of storage, which may sound like a lot, but a lot of, like, let's say PS4 games or Xbox One games are well over 60.
Was that the one that I showed you?
This was months ago.
Oh, okay. Maybe. I'm not sure. I feel like,
But I doubt that'd be a worry. I'm sure Nintendo will figure out whatever they need to do.
yeah, and I think you could dumb down a game's look a bit more for a handheld.
True.
So, like, I mean, not quite to the degree that Xenoblade Chronicles did, because that game had to make itself look terrible to fit on the disc, but I mean, like, definitely, like, slightly, like, reducing the resolution of textures, making models a tiny bit less detailed.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe there won't be much third-party support. I mean, maybe there'll be third-party support, but it'll be, like, exclusive support.
Maybe, but it seems like third-party support is decently strong right now, with Square Enix, Ubisoft, Warner Brothers. Seems promising.
Hopefully EA. I mean, I know we all hate EA, but
they bring
customers
the money and the FIFA people.
So, I mean, I hope there's a lot of third-party support, just like cartridge space is a bit worrisome. But I don't know, maybe they figured out a way to make it even bigger than 32, maybe something like 60 to 70.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Another rumor that came out just the other day was that the NX will have a 720p screen with a 6.2-inch display. What do you think of that?
Well, you also mentioned it was multi-touch, right?
Yes, multi-touch.
Which, that's quite interesting, because 6.2 inches, to put that in perspective, an iPhone 6S Plus and it's 5.5 inches along with, like, the Galaxy S7 Edge. They're both, so it's going to be bigger than that.
Certainly bigger than a 3DS.
Yeah, it's certainly bigger than that. How big is the Wii U gamepad touchscreen? It is 6.2 inches.
So it'll be bigger than the gamepad. How will this thing fit in pockets?
No, the display in the Wii U gamepad is 6.2, so it's going to be the same size.
Pretty much.
But I'm also guessing that it has a higher, as you said, 720p screen, which the Wii U gamepad currently only is a 480p screen.
Right, and
I can't believe we just said only.
Yeah,
that small of a screen. Okay,
only
sorry.
480p. That 720p certainly will be better than the gamepad's 480p and the Vita's
540p screen.
Yeah, and that's the one, and way bigger than the 3DS's 240p screen.
So this is actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's a big jump in handheld graphics.
I mean, it's kind of funny considering our phones have full HD screens.
I've got like 1440p or something crazy.
Yeah, you have an LG G5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a 1440p screen. But I mean, it's a game system. What do you expect? You're not going to put a 1440p screen on a game system. That would make it ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, and drain the battery quick.
Yeah.
Well, why do these phones have such high-resolution screens? Is it just because they take high-resolution pictures?
I'm guessing partly due to the pictures, especially, and like, well, iPhone's biggest resolution is only full HD, which I can't believe I just said only.
You mean like
But
only 1080p?
Yeah, the 6S Plus has 1080p. I guess this is off topic, but then this regular 6S is just a bit over 720.
Yeah,
but they still look good. But because they use something called a Retina display, which
Yeah.
is, I'm not going to get into the technology about that, but
1080p seems very reasonable to me. 720p even seems reasonable because these are small screens. If I had to deal with like a 720p 60-inch TV, we'd have a problem there. That thing's got to be 1080p.
I mean, this is less than 7 inches.
Yeah, so you probably could just make it 544p again and it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. It's just nice that it's 720p.
Which I'm glad it is, because I think if they're really going for a hybrid, they were going to need an HD screen. And hopefully it doesn't kill the battery life too much.
Yeah, Nintendo hasn't been fantastic at making things last a long time.
I don't know, maybe they will, because I mean, a lot of today's phones have quad HD screens, and they last all day.
Yeah, I've got a pretty nice battery life.
Yeah, and you have, maybe it'll, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
The screen being multi-touch too is also great because I really hate like using the touchscreen on the 3DS and like trying to tap on something, but I accidentally tap in two places and it selects something completely different, which is annoying. I've gotten used to multi-touch displays because of my phone and other phones. It's a thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, and I think the 3DS used something called a capacitive touchscreen, which it's like better for styluses, and that's why they did that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it all works, but the 3DS screen, I guess, responds to pressure. Not exactly, but basically, and modern touchscreens react to like heat, don't they?
Yeah, that's why like a lot of touchscreens don't work with gloves on, because it conceals your body heat.
Right. Gotta put some like thermal paste or whatever on the glove to make it work, or get special gloves.
But then there are workaround styluses, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
I got one of those.
But anyway, so yeah, multi-touch screen also allows for a more intuitive UI.
Yeah, like actually being able to play games that are a bit more complicated with the touchscreen instead of just using it for menus.
Yeah, and then also just like the interface, like where you select everything, where all the apps would be, where all the games would be. It might be more interesting to use, maybe more features.
Yeah. Speaking of graphical capabilities, there was another rumor that the NX will have a docking station with 2 USB ports, which I find interesting.
Yeah, because what we're saying is like it'd have like a wireless dongle, which would be like a Amazon Fire TV stick kind of thing, plug in and out, or Google Chromecast, it'd plug into the TV, and then there'd also be a separate dock that would like be somehow hooked up to the NX, and then what would happen is that because they filled out a patent about having like a separate thing that can help boost power. I forgot what it was.
Supplemental computer device.
Yes, that. And I'm guessing that would boost the powers to let it output something like a 1080p screen.
Right. That's really interesting because I hadn't previously thought of that. I was thinking that maybe the dock would just do a good job upscaling the signal and then stream it over to the dongle in the TV. But maybe in the same way that Super Nintendo cartridges could have Super Effects chips in them and boost the power of the console, maybe the dock could boost the power of the console just enough to run in 1080 on a modern HD TV display.
Or have you heard of the Razer like Stealth Blade laptop? I think that's the name.
Maybe? I don't know.
It's a gaming laptop, but there's an add-on that you can get that allows for an external GPU.
That's kind of cool.
So I wonder if this might work something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely something to consider.
Which this is all purely speculation.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're just talking about this because like we really want this thing to be cool.
Yeah, and we're both really excited, and both of us are probably going to get it at launch. No promises, but we're both going to do our best to try and get it at launch.
I would love to get it on day one. I don't usually get systems on day one. I got my PS3 I got my PS3 in 2013 instead of 2006. My Xbox in 2011 instead of 2006. The Wii I didn't get day one just because I was 7, but I would have if I were older probably. I got my PS4 3 years delayed, I've still not picked up an Xbox, and I got my Wii U a couple months afterward, which is closest to day one as I can manage. So I've never truly bought anything day one, but I've bought things very, very close to day one. And
so maybe we could do it this year.
Yeah, the NX is definitely something that I would buy day one because of the rumors and just what I know for sure that we're getting that make it worth it to me.
And for my thing on me getting on day one, I got the Wii as a Christmas present. I think it was the same year it came out. But then I got my Xbox I got in 2010. My Wii U I got in 2015, right after Mario Kart 8 came out. That was the game that sold it for me. I got the 3DS in 2013. The PS3 I bought used in 2015 for like $120. And with the game and a controller, so I thought that was a decent deal.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm going to try and get this at launch if possible.
Yeah, because this thing seems like it'll be really, really cool. There's one thing that I'm a little bit worried about, though, and that's the dock, according to Emily Rogers, may only have 2 USB ports, and that worries me a little bit. The Wii had 2 USB ports, and it was fine because, like, I can't think of anything else you would use the USB ports for besides a keyboard and the Wii Speak accessory for Animal Crossing, which were fine. But for the Wii U, you can plug in external hard drives, thumb drives. You can plug in GameCube adapters for 8-player Smash with GameCube controllers. But if there's only 2 ports, that 8-player, you can't really play 8-player with just GameCube controllers, which isn't a huge deal, but a lot of people would be pretty concerned about.
Which he means 8-player Smash.
Yeah, 8-player Smash.
But see, I'm not too worried about this because one, maybe the controller itself, like the handheld portion of it, would have its own USB ports or something. Or what I'm wondering is, have you heard of USB Type-C?
Yeah.
It's what your phone uses.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if this means the dock will have 2 standard USB Type 3 the super speed USB ports, and then they'd have like 2 USB Type-C ports. Or I wonder if that's what the actual handheld itself will use, because then that allows for expandability. It also works as a charge. It can do everything.
Right.
So I wonder if it'll use something like that.
Definitely interesting to think about. Another thing, the NX is also rumored to have motion controls. The NX is rumored to have motion controls very similar to the HTC Vive, which is appealing to me.
That worries me.
Well, here's why it's appealing to me. So let's say you can detach the 2 controllers from the side, and they work much like the 2 Vive controllers. Cool. I don't feel like that's going to get used very much. I think that's just future-proofing for when VR does come out, because the supplemental computing devices, maybe when VR is more possible and more affordable, there'll be a supplemental device released that helps the NX use VR, and only then will the controllers really become useful for stuff like that. And besides that, they'll really only be used for minor motion controls if a developer wants the option.
Which I think if anyone, because Nintendo has not jumped into VR. 1, it's expensive. 2,
Yeah.
It kind of takes away the local multiplayer social part.
I don't think it has to, though.
No, I think if anyone can make it somewhat social and also inviting and cheap and yet still fun to use and worth it, it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
But so it's an interesting idea. I don't want there to be motion controls like the Wii. I don't want anything like that. If it's just an option that can be used for VR down the line, I personally don't care about VR, but I mean it's cool, and I'm glad that they have the option there. So it's future-proofed in some ways.
Yeah, I don't want the whole focus of the console to be VR, or to be motion controls. But I definitely want it to be an option.
Yeah. So, overall thoughts, it's pretty cool. VR, maybe. 720p screen, 6.2 inches. That's pretty... It looks like it's just going to be like a thinned-down version of the gamepad.
With a lot more power packed in. This thing seems like it has a ton of potential, especially if supplemental computing devices can really just add more abilities to the console, which would be an amazing move, I think.
Which then, yeah, that would be really cool. And then that whole idea of the dock and wireless dongle, and it being maybe you could even bring the dock with you if they make it small enough.
Yeah, maybe. And I think another thing with the supplemental devices, Microsoft at E3. By the way, sorry we didn't cover E3 more. That was a bad time. Microsoft at E3, when they revealed the Xbox One S and the Scorpio, talked about how they wanted to kind of overcome the generational model. How it works with smartphones, and it has for years now, is like say you get your Galaxy S3 and it's a very nice phone. The S4 comes out. The S3 is comparable enough that you don't need to upgrade. The S5 comes out. Still don't need to upgrade. S6 comes out. Okay, maybe then you'll upgrade to a 5. And I think that'll allow people to having these additions to consoles will allow people to get more powerful and powerful consoles. Without
I don't think Nintendo would do that though.
Maybe. I don't think they'll release entire new consoles, but I think releasing a supplemental device every now and then will kind of prolong the generations so that it's a while before they release a new console. Like 2 years down the line, they release their little VR component and it makes VR. Then another couple years down the line, here's more power for your system. Here's a cool another feature, maybe quicker Wi-Fi. Because these things don't necessarily have to be like $1 million super awesome console enhancers. They could just release upgrades, minor upgrades for the hardware that are optional that you can boost your console with and actually keep using it longer, which I find interesting.
Yeah, and it's also kind of like modularity on smartphones, like what the LG G5 did, where you can add in different accessories. Which, admittedly, LG did not handle that very well because there aren't any accessories.
Right.
I mean, there's like one or two, but then one of them wasn't really. In terms of ones that actually are plugged into the phone, there are 2 that plug in and like 3 that are just wireless. But and and then one of them wasn't released in North America. And then the other one was just kind of meh. But maybe Nintendo can do something like that so it keeps the NX fun to use.
Right.
And then maybe it keeps sales up. I don't know.
Yep.
Also cartridges.
Yeah, cartridges are awesome. I don't think we have anything further to add.
Not really.
So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to see more.
And leave any comments you have below.
Yeah, we'd love to see what you guys have to say.
Yep. See ya.
Adios.